Good morning, everyone. A very warm welcome to our HOD, respected faculties, and my dear friends. I am Anya Ahana, a BTech final year student, and now as your moderator for this exciting Alumni Wisdom Series session titled From Here to There. This session is not just a one-way speech but an interactive Q&A session designed specifically to help you resolve your doubts and get real-world advice directly from our accomplished seniors. Today, we have the privilege of hearing from three incredible alumni who have successfully navigated the transition from college life to thriving professional careers. They'll share their journeys, lessons, and practical tips. But most importantly, this session is about your questions, your curiosities, and your concerns. So feel free to engage and make the most out of this opportunity. Without any further delay, let's dive in and start with this interaction section. Our first guest needs no introduction in the IT circles. He is someone who has combined technical brilliance with leadership excellence. With 14 years of experience, he has worked across technologies like .NET, BMC Remedy, SQL Server, and ServiceNow. From leading development and operation teams at Accenture to directly architectural intelligence as senior manager in Cognizant, he has always been at the forefront of digital transformations. He has won several awards for value creation and performance. And outside of work, he is true knowledge sharer, organizing developer meetups and contributing to the ServiceNow community. Friends, please join me in welcoming someone who believes in building, leading, and sharing knowledge, Mr. Amit Ahuja. Our next senior we have with us is the dynamic professional who proves that brilliance and determination knows no limits. With 8 years of expertise in SQL, Scala, business intelligence, cyber risk, finance, and data visualization, she has built her career step by step from working at Deloitte US offices as a data analyst and associate solution advisor to contributing as a business intelligence engineer at Amazon and now shining as a data scientist with LinkedIn. Here's something interesting for the students. When we scroll LinkedIn for career opportunities or insights, little do we realize that there are brilliant minds like her working behind the scenes, making those experiences better. She has also received many awards and even been recognized as a star performer. Please put your hands together for a true data wizard, Ms. Garima Bhayana. Thank you all for being here. It is truly an honor to have your journey celebrated and shared with us today. From teaching and leading at Cognizant and powering careers through data at LinkedIn, you all represent how diverse and inspiring career paths can be. So now, let's move into the heart of today's session. We are going to explore your journeys, your insights, and your guidance for our students. I'll be asking you some questions, and we are excited to hear your stories because this is where real wisdom meets real experience. Hello. Hello, Amit.
Okay. Hello, Anya. Thank you for the nice introduction. And hi, everyone.
Hello, Garima. So, my first question to you, Amit, is many final year students feel unprepared in coding. What last minute strategies can help them crack placements?
Okay. for coding, there is no last minute strategy, to be honest with you. Um, but what I feel is people don't know where to start, right? I guess if you want to build your expertise in coding, you need to start with any language, right? It's not that one particular language has more opportunities today, and that is going to be the trend throughout. When I started, I mean, I passed out in 2011. The first language I coded on was C, which was in class 10. So you start with C, then I pushed on to C++, then .NET, and up, those things are becoming irrelevant. So you have to start and build a mindset of how you can code, understand the problem, and syntax तो सभी गूगल करते हैं और अब गूगल से भी आगे क्लॉड एंड एआई टूल्स आर देयर बट understand the problem statement and start figuring your way out. That is more important, right? But कोई shortcut नहीं है, practice है, so you'll have to practice.
Thank you for this inspiring words.
There's just one thing that I want to add, which I realized maybe like sometime middle in my career. We tend to think that whatever preparation we've done is enough for any company that we're interviewing. That's not the case. If you're interviewing for a firm, you have to research what kind of work do they do. You should interact with people who are working in that company or specifically that team to try to understand their culture and exactly what they're working on. That really gives you an edge, trust me, and that is true even now for me. Like, I've been in the career in this corporate journey for maybe 7 years now, and that's still true. So your generic preparation is good, but for every company you should do research and figure out what extra do you need to focus on, and if there's something that you're missing, because every company has different sets of things that they focus on. Even the questionnaires tend to have a pattern, so you should research what kind of coding questions do they tend to focus on or grill you on, and that, yeah, really helps.
Yeah. One more thing I like to add, a lot of people feel underconfident in coding, right? Believe me, coding is not the only job you do in corporates, right? You've got multiple different personas. You've got testers, you've got business analysts, you've got functional consultants, and you've got developers, you've got scrum masters, you've got release managers, change managers. You've got so many different roles which are needed in any corporate, in any IT company. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि अगर आप सिर्फ कोडिंग में कॉन्फिडेंट नहीं हो तो आपको करियर नहीं बना सकते हो आप, राइट? दैट्स द पॉइंट. सो यू नीड टू फोकस ऑन व्हाट opportunities you get, learn them, give it your best, and then जो किस्मत में है you'll get it, right? That's the point.
Have truly shed light on this topic. Now, Garima, how important are projects and internships during placements? Can student without big projects still get placed?
I think there is no question that definitely projects play a big role, if not in getting placed, but your readiness to actually step into the corporate world. You feel a lot more confident because when you do projects in your college, what you're doing essentially is there is a problem, you don't know how to go about it. You spend a couple of days or months on it, and then you figure it out. That's exactly what you'll be doing for the rest of your lives, no matter where you go, no matter which company you're in, no matter what role you're in. The one thing that you will have to get used to is being uncomfortable. Like, if you're serious about your career growth, that's where you will be, because the world that we are in, there is the technologies that we're using are constantly evolving, so you have to be uncomfortable. So yes, projects help you a lot in your readiness to step into the corporate world, but at the same time, I don't think you have to have like a big project on your resume to get something. As long as you have the right skills, whether those come from some internships or small projects, like a bunch of them, it's totally fine. At the end of the day, your skills are what matters and your readiness to step into the corporate world.
Always. So, how many of you really think? Let me ask this to you guys. Probably you can just do a raise of hands. जो question आन्या ने पूछा. What do you think? Are projects and internships important? Like, how many want to raise your hands? Okay. Majority of you. And out of the projects you guys are building for your final year, how many of you are actually working on them? The hands have gone a little bit down, right? So, देखो, what she said is completely true. What I want to add on is projects are important, not just for your resume, right? That you put them there. Why do you put a project on your resume? It is because when you get into an interview, the panelist will ask you something based on what you've written in your CV. Like when I go for placements, I don't know the candidate, right? What they've done. It will start with their introduction and what they've written in their CV. So अगर आपने project जो भी mention करा है, if you don't know about it or if you've not worked on it, then it will be very difficult to crack that interview, right? So if you are doing anything in a project, सबसे पहले decide the roles. Like if you are 4-member team, then who is doing what? Everybody will probably not be a developer. So if you are not a developer in that actively, then figure out a role in that. You can say that, I did a QA validation of that project, or in development I built this part, right? At least उस project में से ऐसा कुछ निकालो जो आप interview में बोल पाओ. That is what is more important, and figure that out, and then you will have a better chance of clearing an interview.
Our students will definitely follow this now. So, this is the most exciting question for students. Should freshers focus on getting a high LPA package in their first job, or should they accept any opportunity and then focus on growth later?
Uh, so this is not just a question that you guys have. Even till date, all of us have been in situations where we have two offers. One of them is paying much better, and the other is not paying as much. So yeah, again, this is also going to be there throughout your careers. But I think personally, for me, I would not recommend you to chase money right now at the beginning of your careers, and here's why. Uh, in the beginning, it's all about putting in the effort and learning. So firstly, you've been a student most of your life. Now you're stepping into a new world. That takes a lot of time to figure it out. Like, I've not seen a lot of people, just jump into it right away. So that is the time where you'll have to put in a lot of efforts to figure things out, because a lot of things are new. You're getting used to this new world. And in addition to that, right now what you learn is going to set the basis for your entire career. Like, if you don't focus on learning, money is not going to help you a lot, because after that job, where will you really go? So money right now, because I've seen, and I'll give you example. So there have been a bunch of people, and there is no one single trajectory or formula that will get you success. There have been people who start off with great packages, but eventually the package is not great enough, maybe 6 or 7 years down the line. There are people who start with poor packages, but then eventually they, go far up the ladder. So it's never like, the focus should not be on money in the beginning years of your career. You should focus more on learning and understanding what this world is all about. And that's the only thing you should focus on initially. Eventually, when you have maybe more complicated lives and other things to cater to, that's when you can figure out what you want to focus on. That's a different stage of your lives. So for now, I think learning is all it should be about, because there is no one fixed path. It's not that if you start lower, you'll always be there. I've seen people who, so for example, Mu Sigma is one of the companies which tends to pay lower, but every single person that I've ever met from Mu Sigma is amazing, because the kind of learning that happens here somehow molds them into a person that they end up becoming a leader eventually. And I've seen this multiple times. So yeah, I can bet you on that. It's not about the money, definitely, in the initial years of your career.
Okay, what is low package? Like, what is the low? आजकल क्या benchmark चल रहा है? Of
3-4
3-4
LPA.
अभी भी वही benchmark है.
हाँ.
Okay. So as per you guys, what is the benchmark? Like, what is a minimum number you guys would be comfortable in joining a company? And shout out, it's okay. 7, okay. 8, 6, 5. What is the lowest? 5. Okay. Harinder is calling. Sorry, let me take that. Yeah, so he's coming from Noida and he's just reached college. So that's the first guy, right? Okay. So, where were we? 5, right? How many of our, how many of you would take a 5 LPA package and go to a city like Chennai? Okay. How many of you will take a 5 LPA package living in Gurgaon and join a company in Noida? Now think about the question yourself: is the job important, the package important, the location important? What is important? Now, that's what you need to think of. The answer you will get on your own. I got placed, I had a campus placement from here. I got placed in Accenture. I didn't get a joining for 6 months. I joined in 1st Feb, and that too in Chennai, and for a package of 3 LPA. Okay, my starting salary was 20,000. I went to Chennai because I wanted a job. So it is not important on the number you start at. It is not important on the location you start at, and it is not at all important with the technology you start on. स्टार्ट करना जरूरी है. उसके बाद 2 साल 3 साल 4 साल, it's a very long career. A career is not about 5 years or 10 years, right? A career would span over 30 years. You'll get those numbers. So numbers are not important in your initial journey at all. It is learning which is important, as she said. And then attitude change करो कि मेरे को इस लोकेशन पे नहीं जाना, मेरे को उस नंबर पे यहाँ नहीं जाना. Just join whatever you're getting and figure your way out in your career. That is more important.
That's amazing. So, what one piece of advice you have for our students about handling setbacks or rejections?
Okay, तो लास्ट वाले में थोड़ा सा सीरियस हो गए थे, राइट? सो handling setbacks and rejections, I guess everybody knows how to handle that, right? I guess all of them go through heartbreaks. Or don't you? Everybody's got a good track record. So, okay, Harinder is here. Hello, Harinder. Can we have a big round of applause for Harinder? And we have a good introduction for you as well.
We
Please,
just
Anya will give
introduce you.
an intro for you. पहले वो कर लेते हैं. आ जाओ, बैठो. बाजी आओ.
Harinder has just arrived, whose journey is equally fascinating. A powerhouse of knowledge with 17 years of diverse experience across technologies like XML, Git, C++, and Java. He has been a senior systems engineer at Infosys, a teaching assistant at IIT Delhi, the co founder and operations head of Tutelage Gurgaon, and today he is charting success as an engineering manager at Microsoft. Now, here's some trivia for all of you. What's common between a startup founder, a teacher at IIT Delhi, and a tech leader at Microsoft? Yes, it's none other than Mr. Harinder Pal. Let's give a big round of applause for him.
The common thing was ITM. Now it became NCU. Sir, intro. हाँ बोल, अरे बोलो यार.
अच्छा, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल लेट आने के लिए ताड़ियां नहीं बजाते हैं, गाली मारते हैं, ठीक है. सो आई एम सॉरी फॉर कमिंग लेट. Like all of my projects which we do at Microsoft, my estimation has gone wrong. Okay, and I came from Noida. I am working in Microsoft Noida. Introduce करना? नहीं हो गया क्या? Okay, good. Hi.
देखा, अब एंटरटेनमेंट होगा. So about rejections and heartbreaks, sorry, not heartbreaks, setbacks, right? So I guess this is in context with interviews, right? So every interview you'll not clear, obviously. What is important is what questions are being asked in the interview. Do a self-assessment and prepare more on that. Technology trends क्या चल रहे हैं? अब तो बहुत options हैं आपको research करने के. So do that research and try to make yourself better prepared for next time. राइट, बिकॉज देर विल बी अ नेक्स्ट टाइम बट नॉट ऑलवेज. तो अगर आप यही सोचोगे कि मुझे 7 8 9 10 से नीचे ज्वाइन नहीं करना, मुझे गुड़गांव से बाहर नहीं जाना, सो चांसेस बहुत लिमिटेड हो जाएंगे, राइट? सो
Yeah, I totally agree. Plus one to what he said. My younger sister was not finding a job. I am from Ambala Kent, which is near Chandigarh. Okay, I literally fought with my father to let her work in Chandigarh for 5,000 rupees a month, right? And my father used to scold me कि उसका ना 9,000 खर्चा आता आने जाने का, ठीक है, तो मैं उसको 5,000 में क्यों जॉब दे रहा हूँ. Okay, but now she's at a very good company, a good position. Okay, so अगेन मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि आप 5,000 की जॉब करोगे, आई जस्ट मेंट कि what Amit said, +1 to that, right? So
No, I think there's nothing more to add. Yeah, like with every other thing in your life, you face rejections at every turn. It does not just have to be career, and getting used to it is the only thing in the healthiest way that you can, and just turn from it and move on. Yeah, that's all we can do anyway.
That's so true. How did you decide your career path? Was it planned or did it evolve with opportunities? Harinder, will start with you.
oh no, not at all. I joined ITM because my elder brother was over here. Sorry, NCU. Uh, I joined ITM, yeah, because my elder brother was in the same college. Okay. And my elder brother went for MBA. I wanted to go for MBA. I joined Time. 2 हफ्ते गया, अच्छा नहीं लगा. I left it. I asked couple of my friends क्या कर रहे हैं. They were doing MS. I asked कितना पैसा लगता है. They like, इतना पैसा लगता है, उतना तो नहीं है. तो MS भी नहीं करना है, तो MTech कर लेते हैं. तो uh, literally I did not decide what I wanted to do. Okay. The only thing that helped me, whatever I was doing, I was trying कि उसमें मैं 100% दूँ, and that actually worked out, right? I'm not प्रधानमंत्री, but हाँ, I went to INSEE. हाँ, I went to INSEE. Yeah. I started my career with Infosys. I still like that company a lot. In fact, my younger sister, I told her that she started with some company for 5,000 rupees. And then I recommended her at Infosys. She joined Infosys. So, so you know.
So, I guess he's had one of the most interesting journeys of entire batch of ours. We both are from the same batch. I always wanted to join a corporate, and during the time of placements, I was only eligible to sit for Accenture. Infosys जितने number मेरे थे नहीं, तो I didn't sit in that. I had the only goal was एक ही company है, interview clear करना है कैसे भी करके. I cleared that. Then got a joining in Chennai. I joined that. I started off as a .NET developer. I was always into coding, so I worked on that. But then career took its own turns. I went into other tools, and now I am in service. Now all of this has been completely unplanned, apart from the plan of joining a corporate. So आप ज़्यादा plan कर नहीं पाओगे, right? Go with the flow, and as Harinder said, put in your best effort wherever you go. Try to learn and try to figure out what interests you more. So it could be that you start your journey as a tester, but you always wanted to become a developer. So keep owning that skill, working on it. आगे जाके opportunity मिलेगी. Try to switch on that and then grow your career from there. The interesting or the most important part is to start your career, right?
Can we take follow-ups as well? Like in case, guys, folks, in case you have follow-ups, I think you can just raise your hand and ask questions. Huh? ठीक है.
Yeah, so even for me, nothing was ever planned. So during my time at NCU, the one thing that I did, which I'm happy I did, was that I tried to figure out what was my area of interest. Like at that time, there was cloud computing that was coming in, data sciences was just getting started. So and NCU definitely had like a bunch of courses, very detailed, which honestly at that point in time, no other college had. So yeah, I got an edge there. I explored a bunch of them, and by the end of maybe third year or fourth, the starting of fourth year, I knew that data sciences is something that I'm interested in. I'd done a couple of projects there, so I just had a direction that this is something that I'm liking, and maybe this is something that I can do for the rest of my life. Uh, I got placed into Deloitte from college, and it was a cybersecurity profile. It was pretty generic enough, but because I had a direction in mind that hey, this is what I want to be doing. Within 3 months, I spoke to people. I told them the projects that I had done so that they know what I worked on, and within 3 months, I was able to pivot to proper work on data analytics. And I was like, so that was the first turn probably in my career. Throughout my journey in Deloitte, I worked on data analytics. Maybe one of the projects again came in, which was more about cloud computing, which I enjoyed. I was leading a team, and there was like a lot of good wins there. But after 9 months, I again realized that I know I'm good at it, but I'm not enjoying it as much. So I need to go back to data sciences. That's when I switched to Amazon, which was like a purely data-driven role in a product company. That happened, and then somehow I thought, let's do masters, because again, sometimes we just do things which other people are doing. So I was like, okay, I gave my exams, I got into a great college, I had my admit, I spent 2 years on all of this. So think of the effort that went into this, like increasing your vocabulary, all of that. It takes a lot of effort. If you guys are aware of how much effort goes into getting a master's, like how much it takes, because in US the applications are very thorough. So I did all of that. And believe me, just 1 month before I was supposed to join Carnegie Mellon, I actually withdrew my application. Like I had everything in place. I had plans of where I'm going to stay because COVID came in. That was also one part of it, but it was all unplanned. Something happened. I realized this probably does not fit into what I want from life. And then I made my switch to LinkedIn, which was like a proper pure data science role, which till date gives me everything I had been looking for. So the point that I'm trying to make is as long as you have some direction in mind and you have an exploratory mindset, you can try to figure out where you want to go, course correct, make mistakes, figure out, and that's just how it's going to be. So yeah, it's nothing is ever planned. You just have to have some sense of what you want.
Okay, so Harinder just suggested that let's have some questions from you guys. I mean, sorry to break the flow, but we also want to keep it as an interactive session with you all, right? नहीं तो lecture तो पूरे दिन आप सुनते ही रहते हो. So we want you to ask us as seniors, are not industry experts or anything of that sort. What are the questions you have on topics which have been touched? I know she has a bigger list of questions, but अभी तक जो भी बातें करी है, किसी को कुछ पूछना उस पे और है, or you have any doubts, please let's make it interactive, right? So anybody wants to raise their hand and ask a question?
Sir, I have one question. Amit?
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, yes, sir,
I'm
please.
Dhaval, sir.
Yeah.
As you said, your first job. I have two questions.
Please.
One is from you, and the second one, all three of you can answer. So, as you said, you started your career with Accenture, and this year also we are about to start with the Accenture process.
Yes.
So, any advice you can give how you prepare and what
Sure.
you did during that period when before joining?
Yeah.
And the second question that I have is nowadays many companies are offering bond period for 2 years, 3 years because the Gen Zs are leaving once
Yes,
joining after
yes.
6 months or
Yeah.
7 months because of their higher package.
Yes.
So, what you suggest whether they should go ahead with the bond period and
Sure.
what will be the takeaways?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So I'll answer the first one. What we did at Accenture, or how did I prepare for cracking Accenture's interview? What we used to do? कॉलेज की पार्किंग के पास एक पीजी था. वन ऑफ माय फ्रेंड्स यूज्ड टू स्टे देयर, एंड इन फाइनल ईयर हमारे टाइम फ्राइडेज ऑफ होते थे ना, फ्राइडेज को ज्यादा क्लासेस नहीं होती थी, ऐसा कुछ होता था. सो वी यूज्ड टू गो टू हिज पीजी एंड डू मॉक इंटरव्यूज ऑफ ईच अदर. सो वी यूज्ड टू टॉक टू आर सीनियर्स, बिकॉज तब इतना नहीं था अवेलेबल यूट्यूब पे, और ये सब नहीं था इतना ज्यादा. यूट्यूब था बट इतने क्वेश्चंस आपको नहीं मिलते थे. सो वी यूज्ड टू gather in questions from our seniors working here and there, and then do mock interviews of each other, and that gave us a bit of confidence कि ये questions अगर interview में पूछे जाएंगे तो what will be our answer. So this we did for around a month before we knew that companies are coming in. So 4 or 5 people used to go to that PG whenever we had time and do a mock interview of each other. From there, we also built on everything. Like, agar it always starts with tell us about yourself, any interview. So that introduction kya bolna hai, we used to practice on that, like refine that more. Then tech mein kya kya ja sakte hai, then build your own strategy ki, it was like mine was so strategic that जो इंट्रो भी देना है उसमें वही सब्जेक्ट्स को टच करना है जो तुम्हारे अच्छे हो, और फिर ट्राई करो कि इंटरव्यू उन सब्जेक्ट्स पे चले, rather than it going on something which you don't even know. So that level of preparation was done at least by me and my friends at that time, and that is how we were able to crack those interviews, right? And that is what we still do. Like, even if I have to go for an interview today, I would understand what that role is. I would play it in my head कि मेरे को क्या बोलना है. And interview is, see, it is a conversation, nothing more than that. It is a conversation between two people. उसको जितना ओवर हाइप करोगे उतना वो खराब हो जाएगा. ठीक है? So play it like you're talking to somebody who wants to know about you. Like, what have you done? What will you bring to this company or this project? And what are your USPs, right? So it is you selling yourself in front of somebody who wants to buy that commodity So how good can you sell yourself is all the interviews all about, right? That's how I take on interviews. And yeah, anything you want to say? एक क्वेश्चन और था सर आपका, bond period, right? So if you join any company, I would say you need at least 6 months to settle in. Like even if like I switched from Accenture, I worked for Accenture for 10.5 years, and then I switched to Cognizant. So it took me 6 months to settle in because it was a culture shock from Accenture's ways of working to Cognizant's ways of working. And as a fresher, though, everything is a culture shock because you have an image of a corporate that I will be wearing such kind of clothes, I'll be meeting such kind of people, I will be doing such kind of work. Jo, let's not break that bubble for you, but it is a bit different, right? Then 6 months ऐसे ही चले जाते हैं. तो अगर 1 साल का बॉन्ड है तो 6 महीने आपको सेटल होने में लग जाएंगे. अगले 6 महीने में आप काम सीखोगे एंड उसके अगले 1 साल में आप वो काम करोगे, राइट? सो दैट परफेक्शन in your work will actually come in first 2-3 years of your career. So I guess there's no harm in signing a bond for 2-3 years. 2 years, I wouldn't mind it. 1 year bhi kar hi sakte ho. Like I'll tell you one more thing. So I've just got enrolled in a certification service now. The skill I work on has some certifications. One of those certifications, a company has to sponsor. That is for around $6,000. तो उसके लिए भी 1 साल का bond है. So I have just signed that bond with my own company again. So bonds will keep coming in your life if you're doing bigger things and expensive things. So कोई problem नहीं है उसमें.
Let
Yes,
me
sir.
add to that. What's your favorite data project you have ever worked on, and how does it become successful?
Um, Again, I know that seems like a good theoretical question, but practically, even the meaning of success is different in different like scenarios. So I'm thinking, which one should I pick? So if you talk about the typical sense of what success of a project means, it was at the time when services like AWS and GCP were coming in. Uh, and given that security has been a big concern, I was in Deloitte at that point in time. So I was leading a project from scratch. We were trying to build something wherein as and when people, so in today's world, every company uses GCP, AWS, or some cloud platform. That's the world that we live in. But at that point in time, we were just getting started. Companies were onboarding their data onto that. And anything, any messages that you send across any platform, for example, LinkedIn, Google, or whatever, like it could be Instagram, all of those are being getting transferred via somewhere there is a cloud component in there. So if you think about it, privacy and security, obviously we know in today's world are big things. So what we were trying to build was a very new solution which did not exist in the market. It had a lot of complexities into the picture. It had a lot of money involved because when we just started, cloud services costed a lot. Right now, the costs have been reducing, just like with Chat GPT or LLMs. But at that point in time, it was very expensive. So I was leading a team of 12 people, and I was just maybe 2 years into my career. I think just 2 years into my career. I was leading a team of 12 people uh, to figure that design part out and actually get them to implement that and also interact with our clients as to what they wanted. So it was the first time in my life I was leading something as big. And in terms like if you talk about the conventional sense of success, it was success because that laid the foundation of a practice that is now there in Deloitte. In terms of revenue, it was in millions and it is still continuing to happen till date. So yeah, that's the conventional sense of success. But I don't want you to think that that's the only way you measure success in the corporate world. That's something you'll realize over the course of time. But for me personally, if you ask which is the most satisfying or most successful project for me, I think that's something that I'm currently working on. It may not show up greatly in terms of the revenue that I'm able to generate for the company, but it is firstly satisfying for me because I'm learning something every day. It is pretty challenging work. And by this point in time, it's not even just about the work. It's also about personal relationships, how you influence the teams that you're working with. Because you will implement things maybe 3 4 5 years of your career, but as soon as you start going into leadership roles, it is all about people, how you deal with them. So for me right now, success is where I've just started on this journey. I am able to influence decisions, I am able to ideate, come up with new ideas, change the course of where the charter is going. So for me, I know, like, if you think about it, this does not look something which is humongous. Like, it's like, who cares? But for me personally, this is a lot. In my mind, it maps to a lot more success than the one that I talked about previously. So yeah, what success means, you are the only one who can define that. And it comes from meaning, what you can relate to and what makes you happy. I don't know if that's something that you guys were looking for, but yeah, that's my take.
Do you want to add?
Okay. What is the question? Can you just repeat the question?
What's your favorite data project you've ever worked on, and how did it become successful?
Data project.
Any project, any
Project
project.
कर देते हैं. Well, I did work on a couple of data projects. So in my tenure at Microsoft, unlike unlike Garima, I am not a person who is like deep into one tech. In Microsoft, in last nine plus years, I have worked on C Sharp. There is some technology called Script Sharp, जो बंद हो चुकी है. I worked on Python. I worked on Kotlin. I was a data engineer for a couple of years. Nowadays, my team is owning orchestrator over Kubernetes, right? So I've done a lot of breadth in my last 9 years. And okay, so to answer your question, I was working on a project when I was one of the junior folks in the company. And then I don't know how much of you have used Outlook. In one of the teams in Microsoft, I was in an Outlook team, and I was HD1 only, and I was working with the senior to reduce the time taken to create a group from 5 seconds to less than 1 second. So creating a group in Outlook, you should take 5 seconds. Okay. As you can assume, what WhatsApp group create karna jaisa, right? You create a WhatsApp group, it takes 5 seconds. It doesn't take 5 seconds, a couple of milliseconds. Okay. So you should take 5 seconds, and then I was giving a project with a senior, कि इसको less than 1 second में लेके आना है. Apparently, that senior left the company. I was the only one who was supposed to bring it from 5 seconds to 1 second, less than 1 second. जो प्रोजेक्ट 3 महीने का था, 6 महीने हो चुके थे. I was still struggling. Okay. And then with time I started getting pace and समझ में आना शुरू हुआ. But then after 9 months or something, yeah, I took 9 months to reach there. After 9 months or something, I was able to reach it to 1.2 seconds. Okay, but it was getting really difficult to get it less than 1 second. So I remember I went and told my senior manager. Her name was Loveleen. Hey, Loveleen, I brought it down to 1.2 seconds, but I'm not able to get it down under 1 second. And it's been 9 months, right? She told me and said, Harinder, I don't want to hear in seconds. I want to hear in milliseconds. Okay. And I went to one of my seniors and I told him, hey, Arjun, Loveleen is saying ki she does not want to hear in seconds. She wants to hear in milliseconds. So Arjun thought for a second. And then Arjun said that, Harinder, go back and can tell her, no, it's 1200 milliseconds. Okay. Uh, uh, but yeah, but after that we worked on it, and eventually we were able to get it down around 800 milliseconds or something, right? So like I worked on that project for an year. इतना ज़्यादा हो गया था कि people started calling me create 1 second guy. Okay. Because I was working on it for an year, that particular project, right? But I want to mention like one more project, right? This is a project where मैंने 1 साल लगाया है, बहुत मेहनत करी, शायद हाँ बहुत मेहनत करी है for sure. Okay. But then apart from that, there was one more project which we were working on, and Outlook makes call to. By the way, you mentioned GCP and AWS, right? And you get Microsoft stocks, right? You didn't mention Azure.
I worked on Azure. I've done everything.
Okay. LinkedIn is a Microsoft company and she gets Microsoft stocks. ठीक है? तो उसको Azure नहीं बोला, GCP और AWS बोला. I got क्या बोलते हैं English में? Offended. हाँ. Sorry. Okay. Coming back. So Outlook used to make a lot of calls to Azure, right? And even though Azure Outlook सब Microsoft के product हैं, लेकिन दुनिया में ऐसा काम नहीं चलता है, right? We pay to Azure. Even now we use Kubernetes of Azure. We pay to Azure. ऐसा नहीं है घर की कंपनी है, okay? So we used to make a lot of calls to Azure, and Azure used to rate limit our calls. I don't know how much of you understand what rate limiting is. Rate limiting is when you are making more than the number of calls which you should, right? So your call will start failing because the system will feel like कि आप एक computer हो जो system खराब करने की कोशिश कर रहे हो, right? You can read about date meeting, denial of service and stuff like that. Anyways, so Azure stopped entertaining our request and started failing our request, right? Okay. And Outlook being a very important product of Microsoft, right? We literally included our leads till the highest level. कि Azure को बोलो हमें हमारी calls को बंद ना करें. And then Azure was like कि आप लोग जो you're making lot more calls than you should, right? But then we could not stop Outlook, right? Many companies across the world use Outlook. Okay, so at that point of time, I was very curious कि हम इतनी call कर क्यों रहे हैं? Okay, so there was new person who joined the team. I was his onboarding buddy, right? So I told him कि एक काम कर, जहाँ जहाँ पे हम Azure पे call कर रहे हैं ना, वहाँ पे logs लगा अच्छे से, ठीक है? So that guy did that. I didn't do anything. I just told him, right? That guy did that, right? Made some logs, and then we had some vendors from different companies. I got a vendor, and I told him कि we got logs. Can you please help us create some dashboards, okay, charts out of it? I did not do that. That guy did that, okay. And then when we got charts, I took those charts to one of my seniors, and then I told him that him and her, they were two seniors, कि ऐसे charts दिख रहे हैं, इसमें कुछ तो सही नहीं लग रहा है, मतलब we are, it seems like we're making a lot of calls, right? And then they identified there are two things, and if we avoid those two things, we will stop making extra 13 million calls per day, which we are making to Azure, right? 13 million calls per day, okay? And then that was great. And then I did not fix that. I gave it to two more people to fix it, right? And eventually we were down 13 million calls per day. And I used to go and ask my manager कि अगर एक कॉल का एक पैसा भी लगता है तो 13 मिलियन कॉल्स का कितना पैसा लगता होगा, तो कुछ तो शेयर मिलना चाहिए मेरे को. Anyways, long story short, I did not do anything. So compare create project wherein I worked 1 year in and out, right? Struggling a lot. Okay. In this project, I literally did not do anything, right? And then this project was so famous that it was discussed in front of Kapil Dev in a Hyderabad building. पूरा Microsoft था वहाँ पे, telling कि हमने ये काम किया और हमने ये काम कर दिया, right? So you can create impact just by being curious, right? And at the same point of time, you can create impact by really working hard, right? It depends what you want to do, right? And you can do both.
Can we have a huge round of applause, please?
ओके, आई डिफर कि आपने कुछ नहीं करा, आपने पक्का मैनेजर वाला काम करा, ठीक है, कि आपने लोगों से काम करवाया. ओके, सो I have worked again, as Harinder, it's been a long career. I've worked on a lot of projects, but I see thoda sa focus shift ho raha hai audience ka, and I guess we would want to get those questions in again before we go on our own story, right? So, really, guys, this is an open question for all of you. She's doing a wonderful job in asking us questions. We are trying our best, but aap log, what is it that you really want to know from us on the panel? Like, what is it that we can answer or we can help you with, which can help you in your careers, right? So I want you to ask us that question now. Let's have that conversation. ये मौका, you won't really get this like LinkedIn, Microsoft folks to talk every day. Cognizant वाले मिल जाएंगे, हम बहुत होते हैं, ये वाले नहीं मिलते. So ask these questions, you know, this will help you in your careers, believe me, these conversations. So what is it that you really want to know? Please. I'm sorry, you'll get the mic, yeah. It's not on. It is on. It is on.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, my question is that how to develop good communication skills?
Sorry. How to?
Develop good communication skills.
How to develop good communication skills? That's a very good question. That's actually
Because,
what.
one
Please.
thing I have seen that in corporate, communication plays a essential role.
Do you think it plays an essential role only in corporate? It plays an essential role in your life.
Yeah.
Communication. See, first of all, understand that what is your audience. आपको किसी से communicate करना है. The way you communicate with your family is different. The way you will communicate with your friends is different. Your juniors is different. Your seniors is different. सबसे पहले अंडरस्टैंडिंग ये बनाओ कि मेरे को किससे बात करनी है, or what is it that that person would want to hear from me, right? It is not about improving your vocabulary in day to day communication. अभी आपने मेरे को भी देखा है, I switch over between English and Hindi. I'm equally fluent in English and Hindi as well. It is more about how can you express yourself better, right? So work towards that, focus on your audience, try to understand what will they want to hear from me, practice it out, speak as much as you can. जब मौका मिले स्टेज पे आ जाओ और ऑडियंस को फेस करो और बोलो, नर्वसनेस कम हो जाएगी. That is what I did, and that is what helped me. So practice, speak more, figure out what your audience is, what would they want to hear from you, and try to bring that script in your head, right? That's what I would say. Paji.
Yeah, actually, I totally understand that question. In fact, I have something to tell about ITM. I came from Ambala. It's not a small city, but it's not like Delhi, right? And over there, whenever I used to uh, be a part of some people who used to speak in English, I was only like, yo, yo, yes, yes, okay? That kind of thing, right? I'm being honest, right? And then when I joined ITM, we used to have tute classes, right? Tute classes, and then there were scenarios where like, aaj present karna hai, those kind of things, right? Many times I used to bunk those classes, take leave, stuff like that. हाँ और भी बंक करते थे बट उसकी बात नहीं हो रही है हाँ तो used to bunk those classes right because I was really afraid right and at that point of time that co-founder thing she mentioned so it was not a big company so at that point of time while studying in BTech ITM me and my elder brother we started our own home tuition institute wherein we used to go and teach but at the same point of time we used to manage as well right so people used to go and teach, we should take commission, we should do all of those things while studying in BTech. Uh, it was allowed, right? Anyways, अब बहुत time हो चुका है. हाँ, so we used to do that, and that even that helped me, right? So I literally used to go to Gurgaon, and there are काफी high class families. I used to go and discuss with them without knowing any good speaking English vocabulary, but that helped me try doing that a lot, and then that gave me confidence. Then I started attending those tute classes, and I started enjoying it, right? And now I don't worry, right? I don't have the best vocabulary in the world. In fact, I have really bad vocabulary. Okay, but I don't mind if I know that the person understands Hindi. I don't mind changing my speaking language to Hindi for some time, right? So at the end of the day, you should be comfortable, confident, and I totally plus one to what Amit said. I have a person in my team who is really awesome. Okay, one of the most technical, deep guy I have ever known. Okay, but he's not good at articulating what he wants to convey, and it is very important for us to work cross teams and cross countries as well. Because of that, he like I am working with him, coaching him a lot. That it's very important to articulate what you want to say, right? And for that, it's very important to understand the other person, right? It's very important. Okay, so whenever you're going and discussing with someone, right? Maybe take a step back, think that what the other person wants. Okay, I know you'll feel like कि क्या ही होएगा उससे, but it does wonders, right? Just try doing that. It'll do super great.
I just want to add a few more things. So, I know there is a lot of pressure, especially when you're entering into the corporate world, that hey, we have to communicate everything perfectly, and it takes a lot of it takes a toll on your mental health. Like, there are very fun ways to actually improve your communication. Like, I'm pretty sure all of you binge watch a lot of TV shows. That's a great place to start. But the only thing you need to do is shift your perspective. So we watch it for fun, for the story, for the plot, for the twists and everything. What I did when I was trying to improve my communication skills was that I realized there was one person that I really liked in terms of how they express themselves, because I was able to relate with them that hey, this aura and this is the aesthetic that I want when I'm talking to someone. You focus on that quite a lot, and given how much we binge watch, and you guys also have the time to do that, it automatically starts translating into how you talk. If you ever really do that, if you really focus on how, let's say I like Donna in Suits, if I focus on it and I watch it for maybe 6 months, eventually I will have her style of talking as well. So honestly, it's very easy. You don't have to, sit yourself down and do something about it. That's one of the easiest ways you can actually improve your vocabulary and how you talk. But similarly, like there's someone on your team who you really appreciate and you like how they communicate things very easily. Focus on how they talk. That will get you like a long way. And the other thing that I've realized is that we are always, there are a lot of inhibitions in our head. Hey, am I saying it the right way? I don't think the person is understanding. What do I do? What do I change? Relax. You have a lot of time in your lives to figure that out. A lot of it comes from experience. And okay, let me ask you something. How many of you switch to English when you're fighting with someone? Okay, I see one. I relate with you. I relate with you. Okay, we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hands coming up. Why does that happen? Because our inhibitions are all gone. So that's really all you have to do. For that, the best trick, again, it's not very heavy. All you need to do is figure out one person and just normally like जैसे हम हिंदी में बात करते हैं रोज आज ये हुआ आज की गॉसिप ये है आज पता है ऐसा हो गया start talking in English, and that is it. Even if that feels like a lot of pressure, you can start with yourself. हर रोज सिर्फ 15 मिनट निकालो and I am hoping a lot of you do self talk as well. Everybody does that. Sometimes it's all in your head. Just set aside 15 minutes, either call up your friend and give them all the gossip of the latest series that came in or what happened in college or whatever drama that's happening. Just switch to English. It'll be weird at first. Your friends will understand you doing that, but eventually you'll get used to it. And that is literally the easiest way out. Or when you talk to yourself, just set 15 minutes aside, talk to yourself, what do I want to do? And the other thing is also trying to show up as the person you want to be. I know it sounds a little far fetched, but that helps a lot. As I said, for example, you like a character in a TV series you're watching, and there is a real life situation that's happening. It sounds stupid, maybe, but it works. There is science behind it. Set aside 15 minutes and say, this is what happened, and this is how I wanted to have behaved, and in this manner with this poise. And that really helps. It's all about getting all of that into practice. So, yes, it takes these stupid steps, but these are simple enough for you to incorporate in your life. So, yeah.
Just one last thing to add on that, which also I tell a lot of people who ask me this question. The problem with us is, and it's not a problem, we think in our native language and then we translate it to English and then we start speaking. So translation करने में time लगता है, right? If you have to effectively communicate in English with that audience, you have to start thinking in English. So that's what you have to build on your own, और वो कोई और नहीं करेगा आपके लिए, right? So you have to do that. Once you are at that level when you can start comprehending and thinking in English, then that will come out on its own. अभी क्या हो रहा है, आप हिंदी में सोचोगे and उसको translate कर रहे हो, फिर बोल रहे हो, तो वो time लेता है और फिर वो खराब लगता है. That's where the problem is. Okay, any other questions? Yeah, please.
Hi. So I had this question.
Yeah.
As a fresher, what
Yeah.
is the best way my profile can reach out? Because we, of course, do not have a lot of experience. The
Mhm.
only thing that I can bring to the table are the skills that I did acquire in these past 4 years. So, are there any suggestions from your side, especially from you, Garima, because you work in LinkedIn?
Yeah. So LinkedIn. For it.
No,
No. First, she go for it. Go for it.
So, your question is right now, what's the best way for you to get your resume out there? Is that your question?
correct.
Okay. I think right now in college, you can sit down, relax. So, right now in college, networking literally is the best way because, yes, campus placements help, but connections will really let you go, like, get you going places throughout your life. I'll give you facts. Uh, any big company, you name it, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, LinkedIn, when resumes come in, there is actually a sorting that happens. The topmost pile are the people who've been referred. And how do you get there? You get there by connections. For example, we came here. Some of you might reach out. We may have conversations over calls. We may guide you on how to go about things. That is how you build connections. And tomorrow, if you reach out to me for a referral, I'll do that. I think everybody does that. In reality, what you have to end up doing if you don't know someone is you shoot out random messages to people who are working in those companies. maybe 1 or 2, not even 1%. Actually, the actual figure is 0.7%. 0.7% people actually respond to such messages, which means your chances are really low when you shoot out cold emails to people on LinkedIn. So then your only option is to actually have networks with people who you value, who you look up to, whose career path resonates with what you want to be. So yeah, right now at this point in time of your career, that's literally the best thing you can do for yourself. And I yeah, I think right now probably that's all I have. I can't think of anything else that will help.
So, see, you want to get your resume out there, right? You want to reach out to people for a job. Also, what you should focus on is that what are the opportunities I'm getting within, because that is a realistic goal. You want to reach out to industry experts. If you reach out to me on Cognizant, I'll not be able to refer you because Cognizant doesn't take fresher referrals. Okay, so वो दरवाजा वहीं बंद हो जाता है, right? So some companies would, like, she might be able to because her company might allow that, my company does not. So make the most of the opportunities you're getting, connect, network, right? See what people are doing. LinkedIn is a good tool to do that. But also when you're getting companies here, like EY came in, right, sir? EY came in. So how many of you actually sat for EY? How many did not, were eligible but did not sit for EY? Okay. And may I know the reason? That's an interesting number. What was the reason of people not sitting in EY? I mean, let's have a conversation, right? There's no right or wrong answer to it. But what was your reason? Sir says less salary. What about some people? Come on, I mean, bolo yaar, it's okay. हम कौन सा तुम्हें grade कर रहे हैं? ना हम तुम्हें job दे रहे हैं.
We've been in your position, so relax. We're just
We've
here to
been
have a
there.
candid conversation with you.
Correct.
Yeah.
Seriously. हाँ, nobody wants to give a reason. अरे हम में से कोई EY से भी नहीं है, ब्लॉक थोड़ी कर देंगे तुम्हें. हाँ, see ना, what was your reason? Yeah, you only. Yeah, the guy with specs. What was your reason of, yeah? It didn't align with your interests. So what were your interests? Okay. So, okay, may I ask you a question? And let's have this conversation. It's a lovely one. Do you think EY does not work on AI? You can have that mic. You can have that mic. It's right next to you. Yeah. It's not on. नीचे से, yeah. It's on.
Yeah, so I think they do work on AI, but
Yeah.
the current job description did not have it. And I currently had an internship going on that had the perfect job description.
Do you think, okay, now this is a question for us. Do you think what is written in a JD is actually what you do in your company, what you do or what I do? It's never that. Never. It is never that, first of all. So the first step you took relying on a JD itself was wrong. I'm not pointing out on you. I want this to be out for everyone that don't trust what is written in JDs. Use your intellect. You're going in as a fresher. When you go in as a fresher, nobody will expect you to create an AI agent on day one and run an automation which will reduce time from 5 seconds to milliseconds as a fresher. Nobody will expect you to do that in day one, right? So don't trust on JDs and grab whatever opportunities you are getting today, because once this time is over and once you don't have a campus placement का option, market out there is very very brutal and tough. अभी आप जो कह रहे हो ना कि 8 lakhs is less, 9 lakhs is less, 7 lakhs, 5 lakhs is less. Believe me, the same set of people, and I've seen this year and year and year over, after going out of college, slogging for 6 months without getting a job, reach out saying that, can you refer us or can you get us any job? The package doesn't matter because then reality strikes. So that's why I'm saying make the most of opportunities you're getting in here first. Join that company. If it doesn't align with your interests, as you said, after 6 months, after a year, at least you'll have work experience. And then with that work ex, you'll be eligible to switch to another company, right? For example, Cognizant only takes minimum experience of 2.5 years or 3 years. उससे पहले का सारे फ्रेशर ही हैं. You'll come at the entry level only. So at least if you join that company, you'll gain work experience, and that is going to help you 2 years down the line to align with a company which is with your interests, right? तब तुम्हें पता चलेगा अच्छा ये एक specific role AI के लिए ही है, where I know they're looking for a senior developer or a developer who will be expert in AI, and you can prove your expertise there, right? So that is a, don't you think that's a better choice to make rather than sticking to, and it's not personally for you but generally in this situation?
I'd say generally it would be a better choice, but personally, I am looking to go into AI research. So that doesn't align with me at all.
No, no, it's not Baba only for you
Yeah,
for EY.
I understand that.
But you were brave enough to at least share. That is more important. But this message would go out to more people, right? So, anything else? Like any other reasons of people not joining or not sitting in EY?
So I have a follow-up question.
Please.
As you said that JD description is not actually what you do in
Yeah.
company.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of JD descriptions which ask you
Hmm.
for key responsibilities and then languages and skills which you need.
Hmm.
And sometimes we don't have that, so we don't apply for that job description. So
क्यों नहीं
should we-
करते हो?
So should we just blindly apply for jobs even if we don't have that?
यार इंग्लिश में एक लाइन है, beggars can't be choosers, right? At this stage, I'm not saying don't take it literally. You are looking for a job, but then are you getting that many opportunities? And then at your stage, you should not pick and choose, is what I would say. You can do that once you have an offer. तुम्हारे पास एक बार EY का ऑफर था, तुम्हारे पास एक सिक्योरिटी थी कि मैं यहाँ तो चला ही जाऊंगा, ये चली ही जाऊंगी, कुछ नहीं होगा, तो उसके बाद एक्सप्लोर करते रहो, मार्केट कौन रोक रहा है? But why don't you want to go in for the first company which is there where you are eligible for and have that backup option? I got that option here. I got placed in Accenture. It didn't give me a joining for 6 months. I tried outside 6 months. मैंने पूरा try किया. I couldn't crack one interview. At the end, I had to join Accenture in Chennai at 20,000 rupees per month. So doesn't matter. एक safety तो थी ना कि ये offer तो है ही. So why do you not want to keep that safety with you?
I think what you said is actually true for a lot of people who are working currently as well. We tend to sell ourselves short, and trust me, the truth is the job description may have 12 things. In reality, when you join, you'll be disappointed because they only have 3 things going on. And the same thing goes for you. If they're expecting 12, and in reality, this has happened with me multiple times and a bunch of other folks. You join, you realize there are only 4 things out there that are actually happening in that team. So you shouldn't reject yourself. If you think out of the 12 you have some 8 which are good enough, go ahead and apply it. What's the harm? There's no downside. And that is how you lose out on opportunities, because if the reality is the company is saying 12 but in reality in the team they're using 5, and you already had 8, so you rejected yourself, but maybe you could have landed that job. So don't do that. Go for it. That's my advice. And to the previous question that we've been talking about, I can add 2 more things which I did not explore when I was trying to get placed, but I recommend you guys should. A lot of companies these days have a lot of programs where, for example, LinkedIn has a program with freshers where there is a coaching program where pre-final year students can enroll. They have some work that they do with their mentor for a year. And if they perform well, they're brought in for an internship, and then it eventually translates to a full-time job. I was mentoring 2 of them this year, so I know this happens. And if this is happening in LinkedIn, I'm pretty sure other companies also have it. But has any one of you tried to explore such programs? That's a very easy way to get in. I had conversations with the 2 interns that have now converted to full time. They just got their offers like a month back. And their journey was so smooth. I was like, whoa, I did not know about that when I was trying to get placed. So it's not all on the placement cell out there, it is on you. Try to explore these programs out, which is why networking comes in. Once you connect with the right people, you research, you will figure out these opportunities. The other thing is, how many of you have tried to do hackathons that actually get you an internship or a placement as well? Like, those things open doors for you. How many of you have tried competing in hackathons or stuff like that? Great, but I see a very few hands. Actually, they open doors for you like nothing. That is the best way for you to prove yourself. Your resume is on paper, but when you are doing a mentorship program with a company for a year, they know you in and out. They know your caliber. They've seen you beyond your resume. That's not an opportunity that you're ever going to get if you don't do that. If you're doing a hackathon, you get more exposure. So yes, you have ways to do that as well. So yeah, just maybe try exploring those, because I'm pretty sure right now that is the best way to get in for freshers.
Even Microsoft has something like that. I'm not sure about the name, but they have a similar program, and I've seen people joining as an FT full-time employee because they interned earlier and because they were in some program before that. Right? I have seen people in my company as well like that. And even though I am not saying you should not read JD, you should definitely read JDs. बट मेरी टीम में क्यूबरनेटिस में काम होता है. मैंने कल रात को ही करियर्स पोर्टल पे एक लिस्टिंग डाली है फॉर अ सीनियर इंजीनियर इन माय टीम. मैंने लिखा है उसके अंदर कि रिक्वायर्ड प्रोजेक्ट क्वालिफिकेशंस क्यूबरनेटिस. मुझे खुद भी नहीं आता है अच्छे से, मैं सीख रहा हूँ. ओके, एंड आई डोंट माइंड टेकिंग एनीवन हु डज नॉट नो क्यूबरनेटिस इफ ही इज रेडी टू लर्न. So
I agree, that's the key. What people are really looking for is your willingness to learn. It does not matter if out of the 12 things you currently only know 9. As long as you have the zeal, you will show up for it and you can prove that. That's all it is about. Because even I switched careers, I switched companies, these guys switched it. Every time you switch a company, your entire domain changes. You have to learn a bunch of new things, and it takes maybe 6 to 7 months in every company. It boils down to being open to being uncomfortable and keep learning. That is all that is. And if you have that, I'm pretty sure no company will not want you.
Yep, and JD has moon and stars written in it. Sab kuch, so when we screen people, it is not based on how much they match with the JD, right? If I take an interview, I've written 10 skills in the JD, like he said. I would not rate it on this guy knowing 8 skills or 4 skills. It is more about how good is it with what he knows, and can I use him in my team to build what I want to build, right? So you might not know that specific skill, but if you know something related to it, प्रोग्रामिंग में सिंटैक्स ही तो चेंज होता है लैंग्वेज में, और तो कुछ चेंज नहीं होता, राइट? तो अगर आपको एक लैंग्वेज आती है, आपको सिंटैक्स ही तो चेंज करना है, वो कितना टाइम लगेगा सीखने में? So it is okay, you will learn, but that's the reality of JDs. It's not that, as he said, they're completely ignorable, but they give you an insight कि ठीक है, ऐसा कुछ questions के लिए मुझे prepare करना है उस interview में. Like this is what they might ask, and then build around it, right? Great. So how many of you feel the session is getting a bit boring? Because यहाँ से तो फिर भी questions आ रहे हैं, यहाँ वाले तो बिल्कुल ऐसे हो गए, phone देख रहे हैं और सोच रहे हैं कब हम भागेंगे, क्यों बिठा रखा है हमें, right? So how many of you really are like, we can then wrap it up based on how much you want this session to go on for. Like, do you want it to go on for 5 more minutes? You want it to wrap up now? You want to extend it to 10-15 more minutes? Like, what is your take? Because हम लोग उसके पास questions की list है, हमारे को तो बोलना है, सुनना आप लोगों ने है. Someone had a question this side as well. Yeah, please.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Yeah,
Good morning,
hi.
ma'am. Yeah, so Garima, you have done masters, right?
You've done
No,
masters.
I haven't. I
You-
said I withdrew my application at the end moment.
withdrew.
So no, I haven't.
You did.
Yeah, CMU.
You did
I know,
MTech,
I've
na?
seen that
You,
reaction.
he's
Yeah.
done masters.
Alright, so I wanted to ask, so what if we have the job application right now? What if we have the job offer, but we also want to pursue masters? And since you have, we all know that the job market is so tight right now. So what if we get the job right now, but if we have the option to pursue masters? So what would you guys suggest, that pursue masters and then get the job, or what if I don't get the job after pursuing masters because the job
Can I
market is so
ask you
tight?
something?
Yeah, sure.
Why do you want to do a master's? Like, what's your reasoning?
Yeah, I want to get study more, actually get into the depth of cybersecurity since I'm in cybersecurity field. But the thing which scares me is the job market right now. So I cannot, afford to not get a job and stay unemployed after masters if I get the chance right now. So I had conflicted about getting a job offer right now or pursuing masters just right now or after a while. So any of you have any suggestions or tips about what to do?
I am curious to hear.
So, I'll tell you why I didn't go for my master's just 1 month before my joining date. I had this notion in my mind. Again, I had heard that from people, where I used to think that master's is the way to get into core roles that I really wanted, and it seems synonymous. And what I realized during that time when COVID came in and the admission process was getting delayed was that you actually don't need that. I'll tell you the reality. So, three of my friends and me, we were doing the college applications together. Most of us got into CMU, the same college. We were excited. Two of them actually got jobs which were on our target list after masters, and that really blew my mind away. I was like, "Whoa! Then why am I going through all of this?" And that's when I realized I don't want to do it. I did a lot of research. I spoke to a lot of people who've gone there, who've come back, who stayed there. And for me personally, I realized that India's job market, and I honestly I don't know where that notion came from. The job market in India, like from what I have seen, is in a very good shape right now. There used to be days where you could land better jobs in Europe. Those days are gone. They can't even pay you what companies are paying right now in India. And even going to the US is getting more complex by the day. I have friends who've gone there, who are stuck there, who are not able to pay their loans that they've taken because the job market there is very bad right now. I personally don't want to go out of India because of the good space that we are in. So my suggestion to you would be, just because you have this notion, don't think about masters. You can do that in parallel, start with that process. It'll only help you. But don't think just because you have that in mind, it cannot happen right now. Job market in India is pretty great. I would recommend explore. I'm pretty sure you will land a job in cybersecurity. And if then you feel I still need a more nuanced understanding, which is research based, I want to go more deep, then you can go for a master's, or you can have both of them in parallel. But the only suggestion is don't go just based on the notion of what you've heard so far, because yeah, I've seen that to be completely untrue.
I agree with her. यूरोप की सैलरीज इंडिया की सैलरी से कम है आजकल लिटरली के अंदर राइट आई कांट एग्री मोर राइट यू विल बी एबल टू सेव लेस ओवर देयर if you're working on that salary. Okay, having said that, don't be surprised अगर मैं यूरोप मूव हो जाऊंगा कुछ टाइम बाद में, not for salary, just because I want to see, enjoy and see the world. Okay, but can't agree more. And US is रिकॉर्ड नहीं हो रहा है ना, यूएस नॉट अ प्लेस टू बी एट दिस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम. ओके, इट्स नॉट. Many of my friends are coming back from US to India. Okay, from big companies, right? It's not a place to be. India is a place to be, right? But having said that, I definitely agree with Garima that we have jobs, but yes, there are news around layoffs and everything. Competition is tough. Okay, and if you want to do good in that competition, you need to stand out. Okay, and one way by which you can stand out is learn more. Okay, so if you want to pursue masters because you feel you will be able to learn more and stand out from others, why not? When I did masters, I was working. I left that job. I was working in Infosys. I left Infosys to do masters. Uh, at the same point of time, when I got an offer, like joining from a good college for masters, I had another offer from a very good government organization. I did not go there. I joined that college, and that helped me. Okay, so if you want to really learn more, तो and if you are good in what you are doing, तो job मिल जाएगी. Don't worry about that. अरे दोबारा मिल जाएगी. हाँ.
Okay, and my take on that is, if you want to go into cybersecurity, right, as you said. So till 3 months back, I was working a lot with cybersecurity experts because my profile was into that. Cybersecurity के लिए, the industry experts I worked with, I have not seen any of them being MTechs or masters. There are certifications in cybersecurity which you do, right? And that builds your profile. So I don't really agree to that notion. And अगर R&D में जाना है तो अलग बात है, that for that you might need to do masters. But अगर corporate में ही आना है और R&D नहीं करना है and cyber security specific certifications कर रहे हो, तो you are gaining on that knowledge, right? So why do you want to do masters? Again, that's what you have to answer. So that's something you have to think on your own. Okay. I hope that gave you some insight or confused you more. Okay, right. What else? हाँ जी, please. आपके पास माइक पहुंच जाएगा.
Hi, so my
हाँ,
name
वो
is
जा ही
Tina.
रहे हैं वैसे भी जो बोर हो रहे हैं. तेरे लिए पूरे टाइम नहीं बैठे. Okay, yeah, please go on.
Yeah, my name is Tina,
हाँ,
and I'm
हाँ.
currently specializing in data science.
Okay.
And about 10% of people sitting here, they're also specializing in the same domain.
Okay.
So my question is, every day we are being told that, do SQL, do statistics. We understand that's the basics. But what does one or two skills that exist today in market which will put us on an edge when we are competing on a fresher level?
I think we've touched on this topic where we said that if you know SQL already, if you know Python and stats already, you don't need to have an additional edge to prove yourself. If you like doing that, yes, do that. Uh, as he said, whatever you know, how well you know it is what matters. And how you can prove that is how many projects you have done by yourself during internships. What have your learnings been? It's not about getting things on paper. I think internships and projects are all that can set you apart along. And we always tend to think so. Resumes always open doors for you. That's the first step. Yes, I agree. But after that, when you go for interviews, you are who they see. They don't now rely on the resume. So how you present yourself, and it's not just about how you look or how you talk. It does not matter. Trust me, we know a lot of freshers come in, they are very, like, let's say, not very confident and all of that. That's always kept aside from what I've seen so far. So then what do you bring to the table? What are we looking at? We're looking at, as I said, the first thing, how eager are you to learn new things? How quickly can you pivot? How quickly can you learn new things? That is literally all that matters. And to back that up, when I started, data sciences was just starting, cloud computing is now very mature. Now you have LLMs and Gen AI coming in. So if you think about it, your entire landscape of what you're going to work on is always going to rapidly change. And in my company right now, there are actually courses that are happening so that all of us are brought up to speed so that we use Gen AI in the best possible manner. Because if we don't do that, we are going to be obsolete. You have Gen AI, which will help you fix a few bugs in your codes, which initially we used to do. So at the end of the day, it is all about your adaptability. And if you say that, hey, no, I am bored, I don't want to learn anymore, I am 7 years into my career, I don't want to learn Gen AI, that's where you lose all your edge. And that is all that matters. So your ability to learn, being open, and a lot of other things are also judged. How do you think you want to be? Like, are you a collaborative team player or not? Do you have leadership skills or not? These are not necessary, but they do set you apart. If you've led a entire, let's say you have Yukti, you have a couple of other, you have placement cell, if you've worked on those, if you're leading something, if you've done something out of the box, that tells me who you are. So it's not just resume, projects, internships, it's the entire package that is being looked at. So list down everything and see what else can you add, and not just for the sake of adding it. Make sure that is something you love doing. If you've enrolled yourself, if you're doing something in Yukti, make sure you love it, and that's why you're doing it. Because trust me, the people who are interviewing you can see through you. Because yeah, we are more experienced. We know people. We know how they put up masks and what they really like, and they don't, just by how you're saying it. So just be yourself and make sure everything is covered when you say I want to stand out. It does not have to be flashy things.
Yeah, and one last thing for interviews: be humble. That's more important. If I have two people I'm interviewing, one is 10 on 10 technically, but attitude stinks. One is 6 on 10 technically, but very humble and attitude is very good. I would prefer the 6 on 10 one because famous line है, rocket कोई नहीं बना रहा है, काम सबका हो जाता है.
रॉकेट भी बना लेंगे, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, बट वी कैन बी हम्बल एंड मेक रॉकेट.
Humble होके भी rocket बन जाती है, right? So that's the point. That's what actually sets you apart in an interview. So that's the thing.
Sorry, I did not know a lot of you are from data science. Though the project which I mentioned earlier was not a data science project, right? But I did switch in multiple divisions, right? And I want to like give you a couple of examples from my career, uh, projects related to data science, right? In fact, those were one of the couple of best awesome, fun projects I worked with, right? I was working in a team in Microsoft, wherein we work with global marketing team in Microsoft, right? So suppose आप Xbox के program manager, or if you want to advertise Xbox, right, on Google, LinkedIn, Facebook, Bing, right? And you've got some amount of money, right? How do you decide मेरे पास 10 लाख रुपए जो है मैं कहाँ पे लगाने वाला हूँ? मुझे 10 लाख रुपए की ad Google में लगानी है, Facebook में लगानी है, कहाँ पे लगानी है? right? And what they used to do is they used to work with us. They had a data engineer team that was my team. Well, I was not leading. I was a engineer, and then there a scientist team, and then we three used to sit together, right? And marketing folks used to come and say कि अरे हमें ऐड करनी है, इतने पैसे हैं, कहाँ पे ऐड करें, so that we can generate more revenue out of the money spent, right? And then we from data engineer and data scientist teams literally used to have meetings with people from Google, Bing, Facebook, Reddit, Twitter, TikTok, and whatnot, right? I used to really have fun working with that team, right? And I used to be like really proud to see that after spending X amount of money because of what we did, both data engineers and data scientists, we could get 7x of the revenue, right? That was super awesome, right? In fact, जब layoff हुआ करते थे उस टाइम पे layoff चल रहे थे कंपनी के अंदर, and we used to believe कि हम तो directly पैसा लेके आ रहे हैं, हमें तो नहीं निकालेंगे बाहर. Okay, so that was most fun project, and I am working in a Kubernetes team leading that, but I am actually changing my team, and next week onwards, I'll be working in a different team. That team is created newly to work on the growth of Copilot. So Microsoft has Copilot, and we want to grow that. Right, it's a new team getting created. I will have data scientists and data engineers in my team to figure out how we can, because to be able to grow something, you need to know where that currently thing is, right? So that thing is really important, and I'm very excited to work in that team, and therefore I'm changing my current team. Okay, so you do have a lot of things out there.
Right. I guess we are running short of time now. So yeah.
Let's wrap up by asking you all a
Yep.
last question. If you were in our shoes as a final year students again, what would you have done differently than you did at your time?
Okay. What would we have done differently? I guess personally, I would not have not done anything differently. I got whatever I wanted. We were the batch which did a lot of things here. We were a batch which did the strike here. We were a batch that did a lot of fun here as well. We got campus placements as well. We did whatever we could at that time. So I guess we did follow a lot of right things. Obviously, गलतियां हमने भी करी हैं, right? We've also made a lot of mistakes, but um, yeah, we were focused. We knew what we wanted in terms of job चाहिए. पैसा नहीं देख रहे थे, जॉब चाहिए थी, वो ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट था, क्योंकि बीटेक करके अगर कॉलेज से जॉब नहीं लगी तो घर पे बहुत गालियां पड़ेंगी, क्योंकि बहुत पैसा खर्च करवा दिया घर वालों का. So that was what was there. That's the only goal I had. At the end, I did it, and we had our share of fun as well. We had our share of fights as well. Everything we did, so nothing to change from my side.
Actually, same for me. So I am a person who don't like to regret in the past, because I believe कि अगर बचपन से लेके आज तक मैंने सारे सही डिसीजन लिए होते तो शायद मैं प्रधानमंत्री होता. ठीक है, so that definitely means कि मैंने सारे डिसीजन नहीं लिए हैं. ठीक है, और आप भी नहीं लोगे. ठीक है, you will take bad decisions, right? I'm not saying that just because सामने लोग बैठे हैं. ठीक है, I literally believe that. I tell that to my team, right? You will make bad decisions, right? Okay, that is fine, don't worry about that, don't look back, right? Just see कि मैं आज कहाँ पे हूँ, and यहाँ से मैं आगे कैसे जा सकता हूँ, जा सकती हूँ, right? So that's something which is there, and that will definitely help you rather than regretting on the past.
Yeah, I think I completely agree in terms of there's no point dwelling on, hey, मैंने second year में नहीं करा, third में नहीं करा, now it's too late. Trust me, it's never too late. I've seen people from a totally different domain, they started out in a totally different domain, ending up somewhere else. So everything is possible the moment you decide, I want to do this. So yeah, nothing to regret, but two things that I would have wanted to do differently. We talked about hackathons and putting yourself out there in terms of getting more coaching programs that may have helped you get more exposure and also maybe better jobs. So that's definitely one. The other thing that I definitely maybe slightly regret is not starting with the networking piece very soon. So throughout my life, I started off as like an introvert, then I pushed myself to an ambivert. And right now, I am in my company where I am being put up for a leadership role, but I don't like talking to people like beyond. So I know I have to get this done. I have an equation with you. I'll talk to you. But beyond that, I'm like, dude, I don't want to talk to you. And my senior manager tells me that that's not how it works. I don't do small talks. Leaders come in, they'll, poke me around, ask questions, and I'll be like, I'll give responses. If I don't have any question with you, I don't have it. But apparently, that's needed to move up the ladder. And without faking it, how do you do it? So I realize the reality is, at the end of the day, you have to have a skill where you don't have to be untrue to yourself, but you have to be open enough so that you can talk to anyone, make them feel comfortable, because now I'll be coaching new people coming into the team and everything. So if you don't build that skill, like, this is literally the time when now I'm starting to do it. So I have seniors, like, who have more work experience than me, and I have to lead them. That's a different challenge in itself. So yeah, like, having an equation, talking to people, building that muscle will not come in one day. I wish I'd started that sooner. I have it to a certain level where if I'm working with a group of people, I'll interact, but that's not enough. So, yeah, without being untrue to yourself, how do you do that? Is something you'll have to build. So, I wish I'd done that, because now is the time when I'm trying to figure that out.
Yep. And just to add, probably what you guys should focus on in the last year, it's the year for placements. Try to figure out what are your shortcomings. Well, why am I not able to crack an interview, or what should I do more? Like communication skills, you said. Somebody said JD match nahi ho raha. I don't have that skill set. अभी तो टाइम है ना, तो काम कर सकते हो. So understand where are your shortcomings, how can you work on improving yourself in that direction, and start working on them. And if you are not getting an answer to it, like you said communication skills, somebody said a particular technology, then reach out to your faculty members, reach out to the alumni, reach out to people on LinkedIn, ask them questions, then they might be able to help you, right? So figure out what your shortcomings are, work on them, and all the very best for the placement season. Keep an open mind, and I hope all of you, or if not most of you, get placed, right? So thank you. Anji sir, please.
Okay, so thank you very much. First of all, I was supposed to give a closing remark, so I'll do it right from here only. So first of all, thank you so much for coming. It was a very enlightening session. I wish we had more people. Trust me, we had invited more people, but they didn't turn up. So you've done it all.
We've been there, done that.
Yeah.
Sir.
So I only have one question actually to end the conversation with. See, we've realized and we've observed and experienced it that the whatever it's called, Gen Z or whatever, they are overly reliant on AI these days. You know, uh, various tools are there. So you are from technology leaders, you know. So my question to you is that how do you suggest, or what do you suggest them to use it wisely? Because we've also realized that because of the over reliance or not using AI in the right direction or correctly, have actually resulted in failures. When I say that, I meant a lot of them, blindly, for example, copied their resumes on from Chat GPT and things like that, and eventually got rejected in the interviews because the people who are interviewing are not fools, right? So my suggestion, I mean, I would probably just to end the session, if you could just spend about 2 minutes each and tell them how to use AI correctly, is would be an apt ending to the session, I suggest.
Okay, so you touched on 2 3 things with AI, right? First of all, how many of you think AI actually will take away jobs, or AI is bad actually? Take away jobs. It will take away jobs which are redundant. Like a person sitting and routing tickets to somebody, that job is redundant and it should actually be abolished. So going to resumes, when I came for pre-placement interviews last year, I saw almost every resume had the same format, it had the same kind of content. Individuality lose ho jati hai, right? The college will give you templates to follow because some people don't know where to start. Like if I want to build a resume, मैं अपने भाई से लेके बना सकता हूँ या senior से. So college is helping you with it, that okay, we are giving you few templates to choose. Some people started putting in quantitative metrics in their CV, that percentage improvements or what I did this, because Chat GPT prompted them to put those metrics in. If you put those metrics, ki I worked on something which optimized this by 20%, or I worked on something which reduced manual effort by 10 hours or X number of hours, believe me, as a fresher, your CV will get into the dustbin. Or when you get into an interview, if you are not able to prove that what quantitative measure you put in your CV, आप prove कर पा रहे हो कि आपने करा है, you will automatically get rejected. So use AI smartly. and work on the right prompts you're giving. It is a tool which is there to make your life easy, right? Like phones have evolved. Like earlier phones were not that good, now phones are better. Similar with technology, similar with AI. So usko make it a friend of yours and start to use it in a better manner, and don't just rely on everything you get. It is all dependent on the prompts you give, so it hallucinates as well. So that is my take. Don't over rely on AI.
I'll give a small answer. Amit took most of my 2 minutes. Uh, so, uh, AI is the co-pilot, you are the pilot, and therefore in Microsoft we call it co-pilot. मैं तो एडवर्टाइज कर रहा हूँ मुझे 9 साल हो गए हैं तो AI is the co-pilot not the pilot, right? And whenever we use AI, in fact we make products on AI, right? In Microsoft you will see there is the it is generated, this is generated by AI, right? It's there, right? It says that please double check and verify, and you are the owner of what is that content, right? Okay. Don't just copy paste blindly. That will not lead you anywhere. Okay. But you should definitely use it. Okay.
I totally agree by that line. Like, you have to be the pilot. Because in my team, whenever I'm giving a KT around how to build prompts and everything, the one thing that I always mention is Chat GPT, whatever you ask from it, it is only as good as the context that you've given it. If you're only telling it three things, but in your mind you have five things, the output that it will give will only reflect those three things. But in your mind, you had those five things. Trust me, two people who have been in the same meeting, and this is like what we see in our corporate world as well. Two people who've been in the same meeting, put in some summary into Chat GPT and generate whatever action items are, or are explaining the same thing that was discussed in the meeting. Those two messages look entirely different if a person has not put any thought into it, if they didn't really understand or comprehend what really we aligned on, versus someone who just used those notes and just got a random summary. It shows, it clearly shows. If I have some understanding, I cannot just, so how I use it is, if there is a very complex problem and I have understood something from it and I put it to Chat GPT, it gives me bullshit. I'm telling you the reality. It will give me something which is flashy, it has English words, good vocabulary and everything, but it is not useful for anyone. What I have to then do is sit, synthesize my understanding, then put my analysis onto it, and then use Chat GPT just to maybe phrase it better, because I don't want to spend time there, because that is something which is redundant and I don't want to do that. So you have to be very careful about how you're using it, because even when you use Chat GPT, who you are still shows. If I have two people who are using it in a different manner, it will show, and that's very important. You can't just rely on it at all. The other thing, in terms of work, I think in my office we've had a bunch of discussions around how bleak our future looks. To be very honest, because in every company, so even in, let's say, software programming or data sciences, you have some automated tools coming up that are getting developed. Maybe in the next 10 years we're not in a place where it can entirely take your job, but parts of it, yes, it will take. So we've had conversations around, hey, what happens if it goes away? What am I going to do? Someone says I'll be a content creator or whatever. But until that day comes, what this AI setup is helping us do is it can help you up till a certain level. But if you don't know the basics of it, if you don't know SQL and you just keep asking ChatGPT to build queries for you, that's never going to help you. We are going in a place where Chat GPT or LLMs or co-pilots will help you fix bugs right now, where it might take you an hour to figure that out and you don't want to do that. It'll help you with stuff like that. But for example, in a situation where Chat GPT can't help you or any AI tool in a place cannot help you, it always is going to boil down to what you really know. I can simply look at a query and say that, hey, this is wrong. If you don't have that capability, honestly, it's very good. It's going to be very difficult to land a job going forward, because yes, very simple things are getting automated. So if you don't know the basics, you're gonna be in a very difficult spot. So yeah.
I want to give a tip. I don't know how many of you know ChatGPT has something called as memories. I use it a lot. I use ChatGPT to rephrase a lot. Okay, my English is not that great. Okay, so I use it to refresh my emails, non-sensitive content. Okay, and and I don't like the way it rephrases, right? So I have added a memory in ChatGPT that whenever you're rephrasing, please use the tone I usually use while writing, right? So now the rephrases it gives me, it is how I would write in a better way, better version of me, but not someone else, right? So I use ChatGPT for that, right? At the same point of time, whenever I ask some questions which has factual answers, right? I have seen in the past, I don't know, it starts dreaming and give you some weird answers, which will seem correct, but they are sometimes not. So I read a memory which says, don't be too creative, right? Stick to facts. Okay. Moreover, when I'm asking those kind of questions, what I usually do is, for example, if I'm asking कि इसका कितना price है मुझे ये बताओ, something like that, right? And then it gives me something. Then the other thing which I ask is, give me a reference. Where do you get that information from, right? And I literally go and cross check it because it literally in in a couple of months back, one of my team members, I asked him something. He went to ChatGPT, got the answer for me, right? It didn't look right. Okay. I literally scolded him because he did not cross check that and just give me that answer, right? So again, ChatGPT is AI is the co-pilot, not the pilot.
Yeah, I just quickly want to put one hard truth out there in continuation to what I said, and I heard that. It's okay. I understand your frustration. Uh, is that if you plan to use AI tools to perform your job, I don't think anyone would be interested in giving you a job because we already have that being automated across companies. So the only thing you have to do is stay ahead of the curve. If there are tools being built to write SQL queries, you have to be one step ahead. It's not the time for you to relax and say that, hey, I'll use chat gpt AI tools for everything and my job is easy. That's not the reality that we're moving towards, unfortunately. So yeah, maybe it's a little harsh, but yeah, that's the ground reality right now.
Thank you so much to all our esteemed super seniors for their valuable insights and honest answers. Now that we have concluded our enlightening Q&A session, it is time to recognize and honor our esteemed alumni for sharing their valuable time, experiences, and wisdom with us today. To present the mementos as token of our appreciation, may I kindly request Mr. Vikas Narula, Director, CSAR, and Dr. Akansha Mathur, Alumni Affairs Coordinator and Associate Professor, to please join us on stage. Thank you, Garima, for your valuable insights and for being with us today. Thank you, Harinder, for your wonderful contributions. Thank you, Amit, for your inspiring presence. With that, we come to the end of our session. On behalf of everyone present, a heartfelt thank you to Amit, Harinder, and Garima for sharing their time, journeys, and wisdom so generously. Your stories and advice have truly made a difference and will certainly guide us all to move ahead in our own careers. Can we please have a round of applause for them?